Good evening, dear viewers on Deep Talks, virtual reality on love, live, and experiences. We have with us a fantastic soul whom I would say is destined to connect to all of us, and to me, she holds a special place in my heart and my mind. What can I say about this stunning, beautiful soul who is inspiring many women across the globe and for a brighter tomorrow? I feel so honored and privileged that she accepted my invitation to be with us and take out her precious time to celebrate Christmas. And not only that, her birthday is coming on Christmas. So we wish Dr. Sunil Kaushal a very happy birthday in advance. My co host, my viewers, the audience who's watching us, we all would love to wish you a very, very happy birthday because this becomes really special for us. This is the 77th episode where she is turning 77. I told her just few minutes back, my dear viewers, that she looks 50 plus. She's so stunning and a magnetic personality full of vigor to live life, and there she is giving us flying kisses. What a beautiful start to this evening. And I'm so happy and glad that she is with us tonight because she's been there as a viewer, watching, commenting, and liking the show very much. And I'm very happy that she is a part of Deep Talks. More than that, she makes me feel wanted, loved, and whatnot. You can see the smile on my face, the glow tonight because she is the one behind my brighter evening tonight. So let's kick off the conversations with our co-host Srishti introducing this magnetic soul. We are falling short of words to even explain how much delighted we are to have her on Deep Talks. This becomes very special for me and I will always cherish because my birthday is also coming. So the countdown to both of us is right there and we are celebrating tonight with our viewers across the globe and the Indians who are watching us. And I'm sure if you're present, please comment, like, and share this video because with your love, we stay alive. Let's start, Srishti. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Gurleen. First, let me thank you for this beautiful and elaborate introduction. Your generous words, they really make me feel much younger now.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. There are already
Beautiful.
viewers there to see your smiling face. There's Satbir Chadda saying hello, Sunil, and charming Sunil. She is indeed charming, and we are here with a very magnetic personality. I'm very happy that I cannot say it in words what kind of a woman she is. I've connected to her and I've felt so deeply touched with her that she becomes the real soul to be here with us tonight. So let's have Srishti starting the curtain raiser with Dr. Sunil
Thank you,
Kaushal there
Sukhbir.
as a
Thank you,
guest.
Sukhbir, for being here. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening and welcome, everyone. It is my honor to introduce to you our guest for tonight, Dr. Sunil Kaushal. Dr. Sunil Kaushal is a Renaissance woman. She is an author, poetess, a social worker, and an obstetrics gynecologist with over 40 years of experience. She was an army brat who lived a nomadic life, which has been interestingly chronicled in her debut book of memoirs, Gypsy Wanderings and Random Reflections, which won her the Nissim Award. She is a trilingual writer who writes in English, Hindi, and her mother tongue Punjabi. She also writes philosophical and spiritual poems and often dabbles in haiku, micropoetry, and limerick style of writing. Her poems have been published in a number of national and international anthologies and magazines, with some being featured in the Limca Book of Records and Golden Book of World Records. Some of her poems have also been translated into French, German, and Greek. Her talent for writing poetry and prose became a full time profession at the age of 70 after she learned to use a computer and started posting them online. Her writings cover a large canvas, including poems about marginalized people, women centric, man women relationships, social issues, and romance. Currently, she is busy on the editorial board, curating and compiling a humor anthology to be published in the near future. She has also been working on her second untitled book of memoirs and a book of short stories, which is based on true events of patients from her practice as an obstetrician. Forever in love with life, she is inspired by everything around her, which is evident in her writings. She's also been associated with Mother Teresa's Home and Harbalab Sangeet Sammelan. She worked as doctor on board for health programs on Doordarshan and All India Radio, where she is also the member of the advisory committee for 30 years. As president and chairperson of a number of social organizations, she has organized mass weddings for poor girls, worked wholeheartedly in prevention of dowry and dowry related deaths, rehabilitation of destitute women and drug and alcohol addicts, for which she has been highly awarded. She works relentlessly to combine her mission of helping empower women to break barriers through a practice as a doctor. Her performances on stage and TV have won her many accolades and awards. She was a gold medalist in dramatics and speech throughout her medical college career. She has won countless awards, including the Enchanting Muse Award and the Women Achievers Award 2019 bestowed on her by Litroma. She has also been designated as Literary Brigadier by Story Mirror and Quill Master by Sticky Pins. Besides being a bookworm, she enjoys yoga, meditation, pencil and charcoal sketching, fine embroidery, baking, traveling, and listening to classical Hindustani music and Sufi music, especially Gurbani. You can also catch up with her writings on her blog Reborn at 70 on sunilkaushal44.blogspot.in. At this juncture, I also feel honored to introduce you with Dr. Gurleen Khokar, a noble soul and a renowned psychologist. She has conducted countless interviews with celebrated dignitaries prominent in their respective fields from all across the globe. Deep Talks is a mental health initiative started by Dr. Gurleen Khokar to break barriers and to express and never forget the original self, which usually gets lost in achievement. Today, in this birthday special episode of Deep Talks, we have with us Dr. Sunil Kaushal to share her wonderful life experiences. I invite you all to enjoy this terrific and inspiring conversation. I am sure that you will relish this beautiful talk and will also participate in it by commenting, liking, and sharing it with all your loved ones. Here, I would also like to mention that the contents of the channel doesn't intend to harm anyone's sentiments or feelings and doesn't have any intentions to hurt any religion, caste, creed, gender, or sex. With this, I leave the virtual stage of communication open to the public and ma'am for leading the way up. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Srishti, for a wonderful introduction. And yes, it is indeed a special birthday special show. And I'm very happy that we are celebrating this here on Deep Talks. With all the good wishes from the viewers who have joined us, there is Dalveer Sandhu saying she's multi-talented. Wow. And yes, indeed, she is multi-talented. Thanks a lot, Dalveer, for joining in the conversation with Sadhbir there and Srishti, my co-host, joining us with this live conversation. Presenting on Deep Talks, an amazing soul, Dr. Sunil Kaushal, with us tonight. An awarded author, a poet. She studied in all schools all over India, her dad being an army officer. So, ma'am, I would love to ask you tonight how it is to be an author. Living a life of an author is not at all easy. So, I would love to know one of your experiences being an author where you literally felt that you are impacting many souls through your writings.
Good evening, listeners. And Gurleen, Srishti, thank you so much for those words. I'm overwhelmed, honestly.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what I've done to deserve this. Must be some good karma.
Yes, it is indeed.
Okay. And to answer your question about being an author, well, I'm an author by default, if you ask me, truthfully. I used to just write when I was in school and college. Like when I was in school, even I was a very little girl that time, 5 or 6 years old. I remember when I wrote my first essay on something.
Yes.
I used to live in Clementown, Dehradun, and there was this essay I wrote, Christmas in Clementown or something like that. And it was circulated amongst all the children. Of course, we were very small that time. Even as I grew up, my essays would be liked by all the teachers, and sometimes they were shown to senior classes also. And that somehow, just, it's like
Spark
a
a
little,
thought.
when you're small, no, things go to
Yes.
your head also. It didn't
Yes.
spark a thought, but it went to my head also.
That's great.
And
That's great.
I, I was good at studies, just
Wonderful.
intuitively. I just loved studies always. Since I was a little girl,
Wonderful.
I loved studying. And
One of the odd kids to love studies, I would say. Very few people do love studies, and I was also one of them. But it's very nice to hear that you loved studies as a child.
so when I was doing well at English, I somehow got very interested in English. But
Great.
Providence was planning something else, and
Exactly.
my father wanted me to become a doctor because he bluffed me into believing that I was very intelligent.
You indeed are intelligent.
And those days, I don't know if you won't be knowing it. If you ask your parents, probably they'll
Yes,
let you know.
probably they would be
Those
knowing.
those days, uh, children were not vocal about what they wanted to do. They themselves
Very
didn't
right.
know what they wanted to do. I
Very
was
right.
not aware that I was artistic inside, and that
True.
maybe I will not be very happy doing medicine. But I
Yes.
just went because my father guided me, and he asked me, he says, "You want to become a doctor? You've got to study." I said, "Fine, I love studies." I didn't know what I was heading in for at that
True,
time.
true. That is so good. That is so good. At least you had the passion to study, and that made you do the doctorate. And also, you are a renowned gynecologist. It's wonderful to, be passionate about studies and then not care about what is coming in front of you and living with the flow of the time. And I'm sure that your nomadic life of traveling every 2 years made you write your debut book of memoirs named Gypsy Wanderings and Random Reflections, which won you the Nissim Award as well. So we would love to know about this. Like, why did you name it Gypsy Wanderings and Random Reflections? Because it is indeed very interesting to know that were the experiences of traveling which inspired you to say that it is Gypsy Wanderings and Random Reflections. And how did it win this Nissim Award? Were you lucky enough to get going with this award, or was it that it actually? I think it really helps other viewers connect to your wanderings because the experiences you mentioned they relate to many of us. And I'm reading because you gifted me one, and I'm so glad that I'm reading your Gypsy Wanderings Random Reflections. It's indeed a pleasure to have it as my birthday gift. I would take it as one because when I was reading it, I could actually touch upon the words and the feelings coming along with it. So we would love to hear something about Gypsy Wanderings and Random Reflections.
See, since you are also from the forces background, your
Yes,
father being in the Air Force,
yes,
and you are familiar with the nomadic life we lead. Every
true.
1.5 to 2 years, 2.5 years, our fathers were transferred to different places. And
Yes,
so,
very right.
as and I had started actually just as for my blog, I used to write this as memories from my childhood. I just wanted to chronicle them because when I used to tell tales to my grandchildren, one day
Yes,
my daughter told me, she says, "Mama, you are the last one alive out of the whole family. Incidentally, I've lost everybody else." And she says, "After you are gone, who will tell the children the history of the family?" She says,
yes, that's so right.
why don't you write it down?" So I started writing on my blog. And then people liked it so much. People like Sadhbir and Santosh and so many other readers of mine and
Yes,
friends. Later, they became very good friends. And
wonderful,
so they wanted me to compile it into a book. And
wonderful. So basically, your grandchildren put it in your mind, said that this is what we need you to do, and
yes,
what beautifully stated fact has become a real fact for people to remember in the coming years because it's eternal. Once you've written down the history of your own experiences, it becomes really a great, great way to cherish this by those people who are reading it, like I am cherishing it while reading it because I can relate to the lifestyle and whatever you've written in
yes,
it. And there are
yes.
comments coming in from people. Geeta Sharma says, "Happy birthday, God bless you with happiness."
Thank you.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot,
so much.
Geeta. Thanks a
Thanks a lot.
lot. And I was also very overwhelmed by seeing your profile that you've attended college at one of the most prestigious colleges, Isabella Thoburn College, Lucknow. And you've done your medical studies, Government Medical College, Amritsar, followed by 40 years of practice in obstetrics gynecology at Jalandhar, Punjab. Now, this becomes literally a geek study, a geek's lifestyle. So when you were studying, did not you find that you're losing out on the joy of living young? Because when I believe when people say that they are doing studies in doctorate, then they somehow forget how to live life. Is it true, or
Yes,
is it false?
that's absolutely 1000% true, I would say.
1000% true. So when you're
Yes.
studying into the medical studies, then you
Yes.
definitely forget how to
You
live
you
the other
you
aspects.
put you put life on hold, and it is a 24/7, 5 years of it, rigorous,
Oh God.
rigorous studies. And for a person like me, who later on developed her artistic side, if you
Yes.
read my book, there is a
Yes.
chapter, uh, Misfits, Reflections of a
Yes.
Misfit. And
Yes.
I was a misfit in medical college. Later, when I was there, then I discovered that there was a very strong artistic streak in me, because I
Yes.
enjoyed being on the stage and I enjoyed performing, and
Dramatics. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
dramatic speech,
Acting.
everything. And I did feel very stifled. It was very tough for me to do the medical curriculum and all that. I found it very dull, if you ask me.
Yes.
Dull, morose,
Yes.
suffering the whole time. And
Yes.
it is no easy walk there. It is
No
not a
easy walk
walk.
there. But
No,
may
no,
I
no.
ask you then, what kept you going on with studying, and was there some inner calling for you that kept
Yes,
you moving? That no, once I've decided that you
yes.
have, decided to be here in this profession, and your father wanted you to be a doctor, so you had to do it. Was it with your will and initiation of the interest later on that kicked up this thought that you have to keep moving no matter how many challenges come in life? Or was it some spiritual blessing of sorts where you are
Um,
also spiritually blessed?
say, spiritual blessing, there has to be grace for me to be
Yes,
born to parents who thought further. They thought ahead of their times, ahead of my age. My
yes,
father said, I want girls to be independent. He named me
yes,
Sunil that many years ago, a boy's
yes,
name. He had no
yes.
gender bias at all. He says, I like
That's
the name for
fantastic.
what it is,
That's
a
one
girl.
of an enlightening thing that I read once I was, reading down the comments when I was hosting my shows the very first time. I still remember. So I was like Dr. Sunil Kaushal. So I really literally had to think twice whether it's a female's picture there or a male's picture. And I was wondering, I had this curious thought, me and my co-host, we were talking about the same, that how wonderful it is to have a female named Dr. Sunil Kaushal. And it's enlightening. It's just beautiful,
Really,
and I
really.
appreciate and I salute your father for keeping your name that way and not showing gender bias.
And he used to say girls must get educated, because, people were very backward back then.
Yes,
Very few
yes,
girls got to do higher studies. And
yes.
my father said, you must get educated, stand on your own feet. If and when you need it, you will have a career to fall back upon. And
Wonderful, wonderful.
for 5 years, when I started practice, he used to give me a monthly, although I had started working very well and
Work.
all that, earning my own,
Yes,
my practice was picking up pretty fast. And
yes.
still, just to encourage me, he says, if at any time you don't want to do it, drop it, but you have that certificate, it's a lifelong guarantee for you, it's a security
That's
for you.
great. That's
So
great.
he would just give money for charity. He says,
Yes,
he says, since you cannot afford as yet, I had
yes,
a I had a little growing son that time, and I was a young mother, and I was a new practitioner, and I couldn't afford charity. So he used
yes.
to encourage me by sending me money for charity for one patient at least.
That's a
He would
fantastic
say,
way of contributing, towards the, I would say, the larger segment of something that's called enlightened wisdom. Your
yes,
father had that. and
He
he
encouraged me.
contributed that.
He
Yes,
encouraged me that way to
it's
keep
true.
going. You see, वो बोलते हैं ना चोगा डाल दिया मुझे. He
Choga
would
dal diya. Yes, true.
he
Very
would
right.
give
And
me
it
something to keep
helps.
me
It
going.
definitely helps. Yes.
Yes, yes.
It pulled you through, and you are right there inspiring so many people. And I was just reading, at the age of 70 you learned computers and you started writing full time, sharing your poetry and prose online. Now that's fantastic and incredible. I couldn't teach my mother, but she has learned it herself how to operate it. But still, I would say that at the age of 70, though age is just a number, I always feel, and you are totally proving it to the women around, that at any age you can learn anything. And now this is fantastic that you're writing your full time, sharing poetry, prose online. So how is it, and what helped you kick off this passion for writing online? Because at this age, definitely you have your grandchildren, you have your kids, and you have other things also keeping you busy. Like you said, you have hobbies apart from whatever you do. So how do you manage your time now to write this, and at this age to just keep moving on, which is so good because it's full of life. It shows the zeal to live life fully. And that's what I would want to let people know, that at any age you can learn anything, and it's not a matter of laughing, or it's not a matter of joke, that if you really would ask assistance, it could be any age that you can ask help at. So this is something that's so inspirational. So we would love to know from you, how does it feel at this age to write something online and people coming and saying that Dr. Sunil Kaushal, we have been moved by your poems and proses online?
See, when my daughter got me this laptop, this is my
Yes,
only laptop since 2014, which I am on now at this moment.
yes,
And I just love this laptop. And she got me a very light, portable one, which I could really sit comfortably in, because she
yes,
thought my mother has now left our practice and she was
yes,
such a busybody. She will get depressed not being a somebody now. I
yes.
from a somebody up there everywhere, I was all
True,
over the place. And
true.
suddenly I became a nobody. And she foresaw this thing and she thought she must get busy. So she got me this laptop and she gave me a Facebook account. She started it
Account.
for me. I had
Yes.
no idea what Facebook is.
What
I had
Facebook is. But this
my
is so
little.
wonderful. I hope my mother watches this video, and now she's also on Facebook. She learned it herself. And I so much wanted her to do it because, it keeps you engaged. When somebody's
Yes,
mind is engaged, it's good to meet people, new people online, like I met you. And sometimes I think God is always there blessing you with good souls around. And so rightly, put forward by your daughter, that she gifted you
so
a laptop. And
when I started writing on Facebook, I used to write poetry since a very young age, and but I would just hide it away. I never shared it with anybody. I was too
yes,
embarrassed. It was too private for me to share these things with anybody. I thought I'm
yes,
exposing myself probably to
yes,
ridicule. People will make fun
yes,
of me or what I write.
yes,
And when I started post, then some because of my comments there
yes.
was a group, Morsels and Juices, and there was this
Okay,
friend of mine, Subarna Sani. She was running this for amateur women writers.
okay,
And she asked me to send some writing, some poetry for this e-magazine.
wonderful.
And I posted a few poems and I won awards. And I was so
Fantastic.
surprised. So,
Now,
so
there
I
you go.
remember,
Without even expecting anything, you actually came to know that you had the ability to win the award also, because you were already bestowed with those abilities. And suddenly you join a group and you're receiving an achievement that is fantastic, incredible, and
and
phenomenal, because
I
that
was so
actually makes you keep
encouraged.
going.
I I
Yes,
was so encouraged by that every time I would enter some competition or the other, or even just write like that, I got a very good comments, so very good back feed, from my readers, and that
yes,
encouraged me to go on and on and all, and it gradually grew over all these years, and I've had
true,
lots
true.
of fun. And the thing that I value most is the friends I have won because of this.
Yeah, that's
I just
wonderful.
I
That's
am so
wonderful.
fortunate. I am so fortunate. I feel
So
so blessed.
fortunate. Indeed.
I am a
Indeed.
member of many groups, but there are one or two groups, and I would really like to name one, especially the
Wonderful.
Significant League. I have some wonderful, wonderful, I think, lifelong friends they are for me now.
Fantastic.
And,
I would count you one because I feel that age is just a number. So you are also my one of very close friends. We've been interacting on the calls, and I'm sure that physically also we'll be meeting soon because you've given me such a beautiful gift that I'm reading part of your life, and that is actually destined. That you meet people for a reason in life, and they teach you and they help you grow towards a more optimistic outlook. Only if one is willing to learn from the other person at any age and at any time.
yes,
And Dalveer
yes,
Sandhu has written, unbelievable at the age of 77. Most people become dependent on others. You are an example for others. Whereas Geeta Sharma
yes.
has mentioned a
Thank you.
compliment to you. You look very beautiful. No one will say you're 77. Now, this is
Thank you
really
so much.
fantastic.
Thank
This
you
is
so
this
much.
such a beautiful conversation where people come, share their love, and they actually share what they really genuinely feel. So, as I was saying, that you hardly look 77, you are just killing the age, and people would love to follow your beauty regimen because somewhere people age gracefully, and it suits you totally. You are a fellow of Regal World of Scribes by Fantasy Bee Poetry Group. You have been designated as a literary brigadier by Story Mirror. So how these kind of achievements fell into your lap? You kept on working towards awards, or was it that you kept
No,
writing to inspire
no.
people
Uh,
through your own
Fantasy,
experiences, and it just
Fantasy
started
Me.
coming?
Fantasy Me group, I was not a member. I was just invited to the Hyderabad function event there. And I didn't know
Wonderful.
what it is about. And Dr. Prasad had invited me. And I asked him, I said, I am not a member. Do I have to register and pay
Yes,
something for attending this? So he says, ma'am, you are our guest. Please uh, attend
please
if you are
feel free.
interested. Only after going there, I realized I was getting these awards. I didn't know anything about it. I just
So
went there as a guest.
yes.
And
So it is wonderful. It is a great way of living life that you go without thinking much about what's going to happen next, but you be there and you're fully present there to participate, and then you receive the reward. And that's the way how life should be,
no,
without
I
even
received
over
many
analyzing
other,
things.
no. I'm cutting you short, Gurleen. I received many other awards there in the form of
Yes,
Satbir Chadda, in the form of,
wonderful,
she is one of my
wonderful,
dear, dear friends. And
wonderful.
she is the one who gives the Nissim Award. And she loved
Great.
my book. She loved my book. I don't know how and why. She just loved it. She could identify her own life with
Yes,
my writings because she also lived in Dehradun for some time and
wonderful. That
probably
is
we come
fantastic.
from the same background, so she could
Yes,
identify. And
she could relate. Yes,
and all my friends, other friends also just loved that book. And this is how I won that award. I didn't work
yes.
towards anything. I was very surprised when I
No,
got
no,
it.
I'm very sure that you're saying this out of your humble attitude, but your kindness is there spilling over deep talks. But I'm sure that any amount of word that you're writing down is actually coming from your heart and mind. And it literally is a piece of work, and it's hard work because we don't know it until we start impacting others' mindset. And through your writings, whether it's Story Mirror or Fantasy Bee Poetry Group, you are reflecting your experiences. People can relate to it, and that's how awards are bestowed. Because I don't believe everybody's fortunate enough to win an award. Like Sticky Pins bestowed upon her title of Quill Master on you. So these are not coming in just because I would say that you're fortunate, but your hard work also is there to be noted because you kept on moving and you kept on going, believing in your own writings, which is what I keep telling people. If you believe in yourself first, only then will people believe in you. You have to respect yourself first. And I hope that you agree with me that women have to respect the other woman also, and they should push and support and empower the other women because we've been writing poems on very beautiful topics. So we would love to know which are those topics and issues which have taken your heart and mind in your writings, and you love few of them. And can you read one or the two of the poems where you feel that you can relate to the concept, and our viewers would love to even listen to you?
See, I write on multiple themes.
Yes,
I can get inspired by anything. And because I love life. I love life in every form. I have a reverence for life. And when I see people who are marginalized, I
Yes.
have had always, probably that's why I could be a successful doctor also, because I
Yes.
had a lot of compassion for the underdog, for the underprivileged. And
Yes.
there is a, I remember watching one of your programs late,
Yes.
some, just a short while back, I think this was Dr. Piyush Saxena,
Yes.
was it? And
Yes.
he was talking about transgenders and the
Yes.
lovely, great
Yes.
work he's doing for the
Yes.
transgenders. So I
Yes.
had in Hyderabad, in fact, when I got this award, went to CB. That is
Yes,
the time
Satbir has
I had.
already written in a compliment for you. That was an eventful event, Hyderabad. Yes, so she
Yes,
remembers, and thanks a lot, Satbir Chadaji, for joining this conversation because she owes a lot to you, and she's speaking very good about you. I'm sure you're a beautiful soul out there who's watching this conversation. So would one day also love to
she
host
is.
you.
You got to
Yes,
meet her. You got to meet her to know
yes.
how good she is. What a soul she
Definitely,
is.
definitely.
Yes.
So we are all friends here, empowering each other, and we definitely would love to meet you physically, probably very soon and in the new year itself. So here is your friend reciting few lines which you would love to talk on
No,
transgenders. I believe that's
no.
what we were talking.
You will. Sorry, you will have to excuse me. My poems are not short, not two lines at all. So,
Good, good, good enough, good
so
enough.
I have written this poem for transgenders um,
Wonderful.
because I used to be an obstetrician. And
Yes,
whenever we have boys born in our hospitals, this is the
yes,
trend in Punjab, it may be elsewhere also.
exactly.
These, these eunuchs come and dance and sing, and
Yes,
that
very
is how
true.
they earn money. And
Yes,
they used to come to my hospital every time there were boys born. And then slowly they got friendly with me. They started coming to me for their medical problems also.
wonderful.
And gradually they started addressing me as Didi. And my children used to
Didi.
joke. My children said, "You have become Didi to all of them." I said, "That's
Yes,
fine. It's okay. Let them be comfortable." And
yes.
they would pour out their innermost, frustrations and all. And I used to feel there were times when I would choke, listening to their
Yes,
thing. It used to be that touching,
it's a
very.
privilege. It's a privilege to give an ear to these people because
Yeah.
they're a part of a
I used
society
to
and we should accept them. Yes,
I
the way
used
they
to
are.
feel this that nobody listens to them. People make fun of them. People shoo them off, and they are not really respected. So
Yes,
this poem is for them. I'll read it.
wonderful.
Whoop. And the title is Because I Am Transgender.
Okay.
Life is harsher than the cold earth as the chilling distance of my own parents jolts me to the reality of being disowned. Hearts close their doors. No one my pain shares. No one holds or hugs me or tastes the salt of my tears. The pain of rejection, the shame of being a queer peer, the shame of being bizarre makes me feel subhuman, just a clod of this earth, exiled from the mainstream of life in this
Yes.
phallocentric world. I would do anything to buy genitals, anything to experience the ecstasy of a night that satiates the throbbing in my groins, douse the fire that rages inside me, branding me with a nondescript label, for there is always the shame, always the fear, always the threat of being discovered a eunuch.
Oh God.
Damned from birth I am, for this body isn't me. Trapped in it are a boy and girl. Oh, just to be me. While I dream of pretty dresses, makeup, and lacy lingerie, I don tough pants and heavy boots so I can play at being a man, even as I lie to the woman inside me. I wish, I wish my mother had then said, just be, when God created them and me. I thought Being unique is being special, but still I was rejected. Conforming to closed mindsets is tough. As I try to become someone I'm not, I'm brought down on my knees. My scars hurt and can take it no more. I move in with others like me who care for me, feed me, most of all, include me, till I discover the truth of being wanted only to earn through my youth. Humiliated with spittle ridden words of abuse and curses that tear the flesh thread by thread, turning to prostitution was not by choice. They would have torn me to shreds. To keep hunger at bay, I go along with the act, and my part I play. Gender roles. Am I to blame? My clothes that define me are just cloth to hide the body. My heart is warm, my feelings tender. Is that any different only because I'm transgender? So
Now,
that was my.
that is very touching, and Satbir has stated it, and I'm sure Darveer is also writing poem is so painful and touching. Indeed, somebody who could relate and could hear or lend an ear to the experiences they've had in their lives could write so well, because you have to be one amongst them to write such a touching poem, but she has actually touched their souls to write something so soulfully, and it is indeed a very, very great honor to have dedicated this poem to transgenders, because they need to be accepted in the mainstream, and they need to be accepted with a lot of love. And I'm sure the ones who would be sharing this video of ours and conversation would definitely impact the mindset of the larger souls who are watching this, and they would definitely think about giving hands to the strangers, giving a hello call to the strangers, because this might seem to be a new conversation, a new ray of hope for someone who wants to just have a hug, a smile, or an ear to their problems. And it might help some people. So, as a psychologist and as a doctor on the other side, and as a poetess and author, she's writing, covering a large canvas, some topics which are really, really very, very insightful. She has written on man women's relations, social issues, romantic, sensual ones, and poems on marginalized people as well. So, this is what she talks about because it touches the emotions of people, and they did touch mine tonight. So, you've been writing on marginalized section of people also, ma'am. We would love to know what struck you to write on marginalized people? Not many people write on marginalized sections. Like they do work for them, but I do believe a lot of people do charity. But still, writing on marginalized people and putting them across to the mainstream is definitely not that easy. So, what made you write on marginalized section also?
It was just the pain I shared with them. See, it was their pain. I could sort of get under their skin and feel that pain with them.
I
I'm,
can
I'm like
understand.
an, I'm like an emotional sponge, basically,
Yes,
which is not a very
sentiment.
good thing. Which is not a very
Yes,
good
it
thing for
is
a
not a
doctor.
very good thing.
For
Yes.
a doctor, it's not a good thing at all.
I
Because
truly agree. I
whenever
think
I was,
we as zodiac signs as Capricorns are sentimental. We do appear as very strong, women, but we are sentimental. We get moved by emotions very fast.
we
That's
don't
it.
become strong just like that. I was not born strong. I was a real
Yes,
softie. I always
yes,
laugh over it. I said I was a real softie. I could melt at all, just like that. But
yes. There is
but
someone
I I
commenting, Ritesh Rawat, good evening. They've said, you are a very talented soul, ma'am. The poem was very heart wrenching. Thanks a lot for
thank you so
joining
much.
in. Dalveer
Thank
Sandhu, Srishti Sharma, Sadbir Chadda ji, very touching. There are people who are joining in, and I'm sure Geeta Sharma, everybody who has joined us tonight in this conversation, they are fantastic people. And I'm sure her writings, her poems will be impressing you also. And I'm very, very sure that this is something that we all should celebrate. It's conversation time. We should have conversations over a cup of coffee, over the calls, because it keeps the other person glued to you as a memory and an experience that they will cherish their life till they are alive. And I always believe in that. It does not take much. Money cannot buy happiness, my dear viewers. It can only give you basic necessities of life. And more than that, if it can give you luxuries, it cannot give you great friends, because friendships are forever if they are genuine. And you are fortunate enough, then you will find some good, genuine souls who will be always trying to make you optimistic, positive, and progressive. And so is Dr. Sunil Kaushal today with us doing the same thing. She also writes on philosophical and spiritual topics, and that comes as a very good surprise to me, because after writing on romantic, sensual topics, man woman relationship issues, you're writing on philosophical and spiritual poems also. Now, how did this come? Was spirituality always a part of your life, or you later, after 50 or say 40, touched upon spiritual aspects, ma'am? We would love to know.
See, I was not always an empowered person, an empowered woman. It took me a lifetime, lots of struggles, more downs than ups, really, more defeats than victories, really. But every
Yes,
time I would dust myself, stand up, and walk and
yes,
walk. If there's a
yes.
mountain in front of me, I can either go through it, cut it, and go through it, which is impossible, or I fly over it, or I detour and take a roundabout and go about
Wonderful,
around it. So there has to
wonderful,
be a way out. And I believe in this.
wonderful.
Whatever
That's
happens, you've
so
got to
enlightening. That's so
keep going.
inspirational. There has to be a way out. The
Yes,
statement of
you got.
yours will definitely impact the mindset of people who are watching tonight. That there has to be a way out. With the way she has stated it, it is showing that she's still so full of life, my dear viewers. That the people sitting wherever they are sitting, if they're watching this, never feel low in your life. If you're feeling low, I'm sure that there is somebody who can give you help. So ask for help, and also start forming self-help groups who can actually make you progressive, and also start developing a habit of having a hobby in your life and keep your passions alive, because she's kept her hobbies and passions alive even at this age. And I'm sure she has dabbled in haiku, micro poetry, and limericks as well, and that's fantastic. We would love to know, ma'am, what's haiku, and how did you delve
No,
into this, and
no.
what is it exactly?
Haiku is the Japanese form. It's a very small poem, and it's in a certain set syllables, fixed
Okay,
syllables. So I have now stopped haiku because
okay,
I was introduced to it by Kala Ramesh, who is a
okay.
renowned haiku poet, and she's a very highly awarded haiku poet, and she teaches haiku and all that. So I was fortunate to have a few classes through her in
Wonderful.
I used to go and meet her in Pune, and we used to go to her house and we would have meetings over there. But I have now, because I am so caught up in my long writings, I
Yes.
have, and since I write other things also. And about this empowerment, I would like to just say that
Wonderful.
I did not reach this level just like this.
Yes.
I looked back, I stopped when I thought my voice can be heard. My
True.
voice had authority. And then
Yes.
I stopped to think, what did I do right to reach this level? So,
Yes.
first of all, I was in gratitude to all the people, my parents, my teachers, my helpers, the so called, we used to call them servants that time, now we call
Yes.
them helpers. Even a rickshawala who took me to a
Yes.
class was
Beautiful. Beautiful.
contributing
The
to my
people.
growth, to my
Yes.
growth, my friends, everybody. And that was a lot, that was very humbling to realize that I have been blessed with this intellect by a divine power. I have not manufactured this. Or
Yes.
the people who contributed to making me who I am today,
Yes.
they are the ones who have built me up. Huh?
Very
And
right.
then it was my education, it was my
Yes.
background, it was my education. Then it was also realizing my capabilities. Unless I
Very right.
know of my capabilities and unless I have the ability to use those capabilities.
That is very well stated, ma'am, that
Hmm?
once you're educated, if you're not using your education, my
Yes,
dear viewers, there's no point living
That's what
a life
kept me going.
political.
That's what
Yes,
kept me going, practicing, working. And then I developed a passion for connecting with my patients and all that. And I was totally engrossed in it. I loved
yes,
it. I didn't like it when I was studying it. It was tough. You're a child then. And as an adult, when you practice and you connect to the, the inner core of patients, every patient was a story for me. Every patient's family was so many stories for me. I was
exactly.
interested in them more as human beings. They were not
Wonderful.
just they were not my rosy roti. They were
Yes,
not my, um,
yes, I
they
can
were not,
understand.
yes,
They were
they
not
were more, they were
and they
more,
were, yes, they were more than that. They were more than
रोटी
that.
रोटी तो कोई भी कमा लेगा उसके ऊपर मक्खन लगाती थी वो. My
Yes,
patients were the butter on my roti.
exactly, exactly. So
So I
you as a
gained a lot
human being
on
treated
the
them as
humane on the humane level. I became richer. I became richer by getting into their lives. They were not patients for me. They were not just a file or a number on the file or a name. They were I am even today, if my patients come and visit me sometimes, old patients, they will not say namaste or hello or anything. They will come and hug me. All my
that's
patients
so
have been
nice.
like that.
That's a camaraderie. That's a rapport that, as a doctor, very few doctors have that kind of a rapport with their, I would say patients, because they are not patients. Then they are more than that to them, and it's so beautiful to see a smile on their face when they actually see you. It is lit. So it's wonderful. What a beautiful way of holding relationships you've had in your life. This is wonderful. And the most, I've just read your profile, and the most difficult part of project that you have close to your heart is the translation into English of your late brother P.S. Gill's book in German. We would love to know something about it. It's your beloved project, and that's wonderful to have something about that. Would be really really terrific for the evening, because it is very close to your heart, and we
Uh,
appreciate your time for this as well. So your thoughts on this, we would love to hear.
he was writing a book on the second world. See, we all talk about the first world and the third world. So
Yes,
he was writing a book. He lived in Germany from a very young age, and he was more a German, you see, in his speech and writing and all that. So he wrote
and
this book in German, and this was Where is the Second World? But but he developed the second world was like I will not reveal the contents of the book till it
I
is
can
out.
exactly understand. Yes,
Yes, but it was something very dear to his heart, and he was nominated for an award for it. But he developed cancer of the lungs, and he could not complete the translation because he had lost touch with English by then. He was so
I
into the
understand.
German language, and he lived there, and so he wanted me to translate it for him. And by
That's
the
beautiful.
time he came to India and asked me to, do it for him, and I was also a little skeptical. I didn't think I was up to it because that time I was not on Facebook or anything. I didn't know about my writing abilities at that time at all. And then I did a little bit of translation with him. Unfortunately, we lost him before he could get the award or he could translate the book. So
Always
this
there,
is
saying
this is
this is
my
always their
promise
reason.
to him. This is my inner promise to him that I will translate his book into English
That's
and have it
wonderful. That's
published.
a beautiful promise of a sister to the brother.
And
And I'm sure that there's so much of love, even while stating this, that God bless the family, the ones who are living and the ones who've already gone as ancestors. They are already blessing the family, seeing them happy, united, and loved by everybody around them, because they're touching many hearts and minds. And amount of work as a doctor you've done. We believe doctors are gurus, and still there are some doctors who touch the patient's life as a human being, like you say. Milk of human kindness should always flow. You've been associated with Mother Teresa Home in Jalandhar, looking after nuns and children of the home. How did this happen? And are you still, attached to the place Jalandhar? Because somewhere, when you keep visiting a place and keep looking after the nuns, asking their welfare, I believe there is a conditioning of the mindset that till you go there, you do not feel satisfied or contented. So this is something that comes not as a part of charity, but more than that, as a human act to just go there and find some relief with, all these people around there and the children, of course. So we would love to
When I
know
was
from.
a child, when I was a
Yeah.
child studying in Clementown, St. Mary's School, we had three orphan girls studying with us who had come from an orphanage from Delhi. And
Yes.
I was a very small child that time. I was about 5. Since
Yes.
this is the time I have written about in my book, Gypsy Wanderings. And I used to feel very sorry for those girls because unfortunately we had Italian nuns in our school, and unfortunately they used to treat those girls very badly. So those girls didn't study with us. They were given our castaway clothes, which was okay for us because we were too small to think of all this.
To
But I
think about
used, like on Sundays, I would see them scrubbing the floors. They would not get the special breakfast which we got, and they would eat in the kitchen. So I
it.
would
Yes.
hide some of my tuck or special things, and I
Wonderful.
would give it to them stealthily because I used to feel really bad. I was a little girl myself. And
Yes.
I made up my mind then I made up my mind. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to become very rich. I'm going to have a very big house and I'm going to have lots of children, orphans coming in, living with me. I mean, that
Wonderful.
was my dream. But
Wonderful.
I couldn't, of course, live it to that extent. Uh, that dream, I couldn't fulfill it to that extent. But I've always been associated with the
Yes. Mother Teresa.
orphanages
The
and all. And
one of
Mother
helping. Yes.
Mother Teresa was actually on our agenda. We had got her this land, through the Lions Club and Rotarians and all. We had all
One.
got together and we got her this land in Jalandhar and they built a house there, Shanti Bhavan.
One.
And I was looking after the nuns and all the children there. Even for my children's birthdays, we used to go there. So
That's
we have, yes, we have this thing about connecting with the children always. And whenever
that.
I visit, now that I'm not living in Jalandhar, but I will be going back again, I think, there. But we will be connected again. So it was just a
That's
pause
wonderful.
button. It was just a pause button, though we have a Mother Teresa's home here in Chandigarh also, and I
Yeah.
visit there also occasionally, though not as an attending doctor any longer, but I
Yes.
do my bit. And you were
I
talking about
also,
ancestors,
I also have visited the Chandigarh home of Mother Teresa. So that reminds me, I've given so many clothes of mine because I also went there, not once, twice, thrice, to see small babies kept in cots there, and
they're
people
very
live.
beautifully, they're very
Yes,
well kept, they're
it's
very
very well
clean in
kept.
spite of being mentally, retarded. Some of the children really mess up and all, just like all other children at home also they mess up. But they are kept very clean, and I'm very happy with the way they look
Yes.
after the way the nuns
Garvit
look after
Sachdeva
them.
has said, very inspiring. Thanks a lot, Garvit, for joining in. Well, we would love to now connect to something that's called Har Vallabh Sangeet Sammelan, an annual musical festival of the highest order in India, which you usually attend. So we would love to know some experiences of yours and how is it to attend the greatest annual musical festival. Now, this is something that's very, very, I would say, an fortunate thing that you are in a position to attend all these kind of musical festivals, which are obviously of the highest order. So how do you feel while you are there? Because music in itself is a therapy, I believe, and you are always in awe of Sufi music. I've read your profile. You are in love with certain kinds of classical and Sufi music, especially Gurbani as well. So how is it being there, and how do you feel when you are around that kind of an environment?
See, I was always, of course, very interested in music. Not, I never sang. I used to sing just like that a little bit as till a
I'm
certain age.
thinking
And
because you have a wonderful voice.
nahi, abhi to my voice has gone with age and with the
But you
repeated
still
sore
have.
throats.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
thank you. And I had patients who were, classical singers and who were renowned musicians because Jalandhar is the hub of music, just like
yes,
sports.
yes,
Sports, the press, and music are the strengths of Jalandhar.
yes.
So, So I had lots of patients who were national level artists, and they would invite me. So gradually, and as I became a little important in the city,
Yes.
was invited for those things by the big wigs, and then
Wonderful.
I became a VVIP suddenly because I got on
So
TV.
that is incredible. Look at it. So going, attending functions, going and then participating and taking out all that is there. Dr. Sunil Kaushal has just lived her life like that, and it is fortunate enough to win all the awards and also become a VVIP amongst those who were then VVIPs and still are, and she still is for us because she's incredible, and that's how life should be lived. You should not expect too much beyond your deserving capabilities, but you should keep on working till you actually feel that there's something coming as an encouragement for you. I always believe an award, an achievement should be an encouragement for more work rather than taking a pause and just thinking about that award and going nowhere, because that's what life should be all about. You should just think it's another step to giving in more to the society. I believe that you also agree on the same score, because it's just a step to give back to the nation whatever we have learned over the years. And that's what real education is all about.
And I feel as empowered women, as empowered and educated women, we are privileged and we owe a debt
Yes,
to womanhood. We must teach somebody, we must educate the lesser privileged. We have to give of what we've received. It's time to give. It's always time to give, in fact. Share what you have. See, you have to teach women about finances. They know
yes,
nothing. They don't know their legal rights. They don't know their social rights. Huh?
yes,
Some of them are educated, but they are so suppressed. They are weak because
they're weak.
woman has had a raw deal. There are some
Yes,
very good men who will leave women alone, let them do their
yes,
thing, and
yes,
not necessarily the educated people. I have seen this amongst poor people even. They leave
yes,
the women to their own, and woman is empowered. She doesn't need any empowerment, no permission from anybody. She is the most powerful being on earth, I believe that.
yes,
And
true.
so, but there are many more men compared to that
Yes,
one good man. There are many more men who suppress women.
yes.
And so these women, although they are educated, they are aware of things, they don't have the courage to speak up.
That's what I
And
also believe
that
in.
is what
Yes,
I tell them. That is what I tell them. I always tell them. I say, be aware of your rights. Speak up for yourself. Have a
yes.
voice. Have a
Have
voice. Talk
have
to
the
people.
courage.
Yes, have the
Yes,
courage. क्या हो जाएगा ज्यादा ज्यादा जो हो
nothing,
रहा है
nothing.
उससे बुरा तो नहीं हो जाएगा ना जो
Exactly.
चल what is
Yes,
happening to you as suppressed women is bad
yes,
enough. When you
yes.
speak up, you might have a chance of breaking that barrier.
That's
So
wonderful.
I
And
always
obviously,
think,
when you speak up, you do realize that the strength within you is there, and you actually blossom into something that you never knew that you could do.
yes,
And that
they
is
don't
what,
know their potential. You must know your own potential. You must know your capabilities. And
yeah,
see, there are people, there are women who are um, talented, but they're not aware of what their talent is. So
true, very
once you know your talent, once you're aware
true.
of it, use it. Have a vision of your life. चाहे वो
Exactly.
चाहे वो घर में बैठ के अचार बना के क्यों नहीं बेच रही if she is
Exactly.
not if she is not highly educated or trained for something
Yes.
else, but have a vision and make that your mission.
I'm sure that
Motivate
every woman has one or
motivate
the other talent within them
every
that they can
woman.
actually hook on to if only they know what it is, and that they
Yes,
should know, because when they kick off the fear in their minds, only when then is the time that they know that this is something that they can work on to improve their lifestyle and also have a peaceful mindset, because still their life is suppressed and oppressed by people, and they think about what the society will think about them if they do this or that. Then they will stop living their own life, because the fullest potential is only realized, my dear viewers, when you have your struggles, challenges, and you endure them with enough courage, and you have the will and initial steps to ask for help and go out to know your rights. And also, if you know them, then you should know that you have a right to voice them also in a productive manner by not destructing your life any further. If I am right on the score, I think Dr. Sunil Kaushal will also agree on this.
I
And we are
totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I believe you must um, realize what your authentic power is. What people think power is money, status, beauty, all those sort of things. But
exactly.
that is temporary power. That is
It's a
external
temporary
power.
pleasure. Yes,
वो कुछ
yes,
नहीं है वो कुछ भी नहीं है Authentic
yes,
power is the power of your personality that
yes.
comes
It's
through that
so when
comes
you
through
walk in, you
honing
should
your
know that
talents
people
through
should look
education.
at you in
Yes.
awe. And that's what Dr. Sunil Kaushal is saying, that earning respect, my dear viewers, is utmost important. Money cannot buy you that. The amount of hard work, the amount of respect that you earn from the real source of contribution towards the mainstream larger nation is by knowing yourself, taking care of yourself, fighting for your own rights if you're suppressed and oppressed, and realizing your true potential and putting them into something that is productive enough. In the modern times, people vie for attention and they do put out crowns on their heads, which are so false sometimes. I do believe that there's some women who actually are dying of attention and they can pay about 40, 50,000 to just put a crown on their heads and be queen, something or the other. And it's become a trend these days. And I do believe that, okay, there were people coming and telling me, "You are so beautiful, why don't you participate in the such programs?" I said, wonderful, if it comes my way, I will definitely, but I would not shell out money to wear a crown on my head.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I do believe that if you're beautiful, you are already beautiful and empowered enough that you yourself, if you're deserving enough, people will try to give you a crown without taking money out of you. This is something which is very silly, which I'm discussing here, but because I know about these women who are actually doing this, because the real issue is deep rooted and they don't want to talk about it in their circles because they fear talking about it. Though their husbands are knowing it, that they vie for attention, but out of the shortage of time and the work life in modern days, they are going out and splurging money for just walking the ramp to know that they are beautiful. Just to know that you are beautiful, you don't need crowns on your heads. You need to know that you have it within you only if you work for a larger segment of the society. If you walk into an orphanage, my dear viewers, if you write stories, if you impact even one soul in your life, you're beautiful. And God has created everybody equal. In my eyes, if you see, it's inner beauty which talks a larger segment of what can be impacted, and we can make a difference through it. The outer beauty will fade away in no time. So temporary pleasures you should not run for. You should run for something that's making you stand for a good stead. And that's what Dr. Sunil Kaushal has rightly stated. We as women should not fear to talk about our rights, but we should also work upon it. Because if we're not working on making our living important enough, not only for ourselves, but for people around us, then we are actually, I would say, we are even lesser than the underprivileged people.
Yes. You say you spoke about modern times, and that
Yes,
reminds me of olden times when I was a child, and life
yes,
was very simple. Life was very easy. Of course, there are lots of benefits we have derived from technology and advancement in science and medicine, and all round there is lots of good being done also. But in fact, I had written a poem in Hindi
yes.
about my childhood, about the simplicity of what villages were like, what
Wonderful.
villages were like, and what the life in I never really lived that life. I just visited my grandparents once in a while during the holidays. We were taken there because we were always roaming around in
Yes.
different cities as army background and all. But I did see the children the way they lived there, and it was very simple. And I have, got it into my poem in that form uh, of those days, uh, which the which the children today know nothing about. They know
Nothing about.
nothing about. I was talking to somebody about something today and something about steel utensils. And she says, "Ma'am, you mean they really didn't have steel those days?" I said, "We didn't know what stainless steel or plastic or all these things. We never had all this."
Yes,
And
true,
it was
true.
life was very simple. And
Very
that
simple.
poem has been liked so much. It was awarded also, this poem of
Why?
mine.
Now
And
that's Nice. That's nice to hear. And definitely, people who would love to catch her writings, they can always dive in at sunilkaushal44.blogspot.in, catch her writings there. You will definitely love it, and you will definitely would want to connect to her because there are few comments coming in. There is Madhu Goyal saying, very inspiring. It indeed is inspiring. There's so many
Thank
people who
you,
have joined
Madhu.
us tonight,
Thank you.
and it is wonderful to have your comments because we come to know through comments only that you are watching us and you are loving this conversation. She has worked for 30 years on a health program with Doordarshan and All India Radio. It is fantastic to even know that and forget about the years because we as humans can only just learn from you every moment, every second. That it is incredible to work consistently for 30 years on a health program with Doordarshan and All India Radio. How was that experience, ma'am? It cannot be summed up in words in such a short time, but definitely you might have something in your mind right now to even, share some experiences of your working with Doordarshan and All India Radio.
See, again, I was just invited for these things. I
Wonderful.
was, I was, I had patients who were working in. I was a doctor for central government employees for a number of years, over 30 years or so, and till I gave it up because I became very busy with other practices, with gynecology. And I was a general practitioner with central government employees, and I had all these employees from Doordarshan and All India Radio, these patients coming to me, and gradually you see they must, like I used to have gurbani or shabad kirtan, anything, or chants even, playing in my operation theater and
Yes.
in my outdoor also, in my office also. I had one speaker in my office and I had another speaker in the OT, in my operation theater delivery rooms and all. So patients got to know that I mean, they must have realized that I'm fond of music or I'm fond of Gurbani or whatever. And they must have recommended to their officers also. And I was again invited to be on their advisory committees. And I
One.
was, since I was doctor on Doordarshan also, so it did impact my practice also. I could, get more of their employees coming on to me. And through Doordarshan, it spreads all over. So
Yes.
it did make a lot of difference to me as far as my practice was concerned. But it was very satisfying for me because from a young age, I used to be fond of being on the stage. I was a
Wonderful.
performer. I was a performer. I was always a good speaker. I was always on the stage throughout my medical career and all. And even otherwise in Jalandhar, I was managing the stage for a number of public
Yes,
events.
gold medalist in dramatics, and it is indeed very very inspiring to not only me but to many people who will be watching this later because we are running short of time. But there is a deep tip that I always share on my show: age gracefully with a will to look good and accept your need to ask for help, my dear viewers. It's a deep tip that I'm sharing, and I know that deep talks is all about every heart and mind which needs to express will always be here, and this love seat holds relevance with bold moves. We have to be bold, we have to be brainy, we have to be optimistic in working, and that might be a call for the development in progress for the nation at large. And also, every talk that gains a little from what's going on in the world is what is shared here and what has it taught you over the years when this is going to be somewhere in memory of people that Deep Talks was being hosted by Miss Kurleen Khoker. This is just not a show. It is something that's speaking more than what it takes to be here. It takes a lot of confidence and courage to share your life experiences, your journey. And more than that, it is something that's unconditional flow of love that will never let the milk of human kindness die. And today we had a wonderful soul, Dr. Sunil Kaushal, with us. We wish her the very best for her birthday, which falls on Christmas. And it is special for us because it is a 77th birthday and it is our 77th episode. So it was really wonderful hosting you, ma'am. But the last message for the viewers who could gain something from you, we would love to have those last parting views from your side for women and for men or for all the people who are watching us of any age.
See, I'm a feminist, but feminism for me doesn't mean being anti men. It means
Yes,
just just considering women equal, or, you see, as far as their feminine attributes are concerned, letting them be, letting it develop. So I respect the men also as much. And
Yes.
this message is not just for women. I
Yes.
feel never lose touch with your inner core.
Yes.
Never
Very
lose
important.
touch with your inner core. Keep that spark burning. Don't
Yes.
lose your confidence, because the world around you says you are no good. You are not as good as the other person thinks. You are as good as your inner strength is.
True.
Develop your strengths and have the confidence to be yourself. Authentic power, I say, is the power which nobody can take away from you. And that is the power of your personality. Through
Very right.
education, through awareness, through experience, that is how your personality develops. Ye
That's
paisa, vaisa, all this beauty, makeup, and things, this is not power. This is not
temporary.
power. Or having a
Yes.
status or having connections with high ups, that is not power. In a minute, it goes off like that.
Yes.
It
True.
goes off. So believe in yourself, have the self confidence to be yourself. That is what
Yes.
I believe in. And I feel that is what works really.
That is one.
It was lovely, Gurleen. You have
Now,
really,
which I still have in my mind. Being a mother of a famous, soul, a famous son of yours. He's a famous lyricist. So I'm sure that the genetics have passed on to him. He's such a famous lyricist. And when I was watching Bob Biswas, I have to mention this. My dear viewers, it is so fortunate incident that I was watching it and we got connected. And she said, my son has done the lyrics for this movie. You should definitely watch. And I was watching that movie at 2 a.m. in the night when we were actually having a conversation. So that connected us, and look where we are from there to her gifting a book to me, and we celebrating our birthdays just shortly. Hers on Christmas and mine on the New Year. So it is wonderful to be in touch through all these smallest beautiful conversations, and here we are celebrating and enlightening people about the experiences of life, whether it is nomadic traveling or encouraging an idea or instilling confidence in people. It's so enlightening, ma'am, to have you on board Deep Talks, because this was just an idea. I usually believe when existence gets tough, it just takes an encouraging idea to keep moving on and to make life better. So I also, just kept on moving onto a ray of hope that somewhere I am impacting not one but many souls. And that kept me moving. That what if this could happen? What if somebody comes and says that, oh, this actually served the purpose of a life? And that would be actual reward for my living on this earth, because putting a smile on people's face, helping them, maybe coming from the same field. I'm a psychologist. When I hear people, I do believe that you are giving them some kind of relief, and that is actually so rewarding enough that no amount of achievements can empower you in that incredible way when they come and say, oh, you really blessed us with the time that you had for us. And this is what I do when I come on the show. When I share a time with somebody, we share the same energy. It reciprocates a lot of beauty in the love that we spread for the people who are always watching this show. So it is so deep, ma'am, that I cannot have words enough to express my gratitude. How is it to be the mother of a famous Bollywood lyricist? We would love to know.
he was just 3 years old, when I realized that he had this potential. He used to sing beautifully. Even as a little 3-year-old kid, he could sing songs which were very difficult, A.R. Rahman songs and things like that. And I was very surprised, but gradually I thought this talent I recognized his talent, and I thought it has to be encouraged and honed. So I was always like, once he called me from the boarding school and he says, Mama, I can't study. And I had to rush and all that. I thought, Pata nahi, what's happened to him? And I panicked a little bit. And when I went there, he says, I get a song in my head and I can't study them. I said, so sing.
Yes.
So he says, where can I sing? In school, in the hostel? I can't sing. I said, when you go for a bath, sing in the bathroom.
Yes. That's wonderful. That's encouraging. Yes.
And he was in the seventh standard that time, I think, seventh or eighth. And he tells everybody, he says, when I didn't want to study, my mother says, okay, don't bother about studies, sing.
Sing. That's encouraging. That's encouraging to hear from a mother that you can sing in the bathroom, but do not kill your passion to
Yes,
not to sing.
don't kill your passion. So
Yes, this,
incidentally, he did go on to doing his, his MBA and all that, but he was a little clever fellow. He went to
what?
Bombay to do his MBA and not abroad. We were sending him abroad. He went to Bombay to do his MBA so that he could sing. Of course, he
That's
he he couldn't make it to the singing notch, but he turned into a little. He sings also. He sings.
one
He sung some of his songs also, but he made it as a lyricist, and
wonderful.
and
Now that's beautiful because
I feel it's a matter. I feel very blessed. I feel
you
very blessed.
it's indeed a
God
yes.
has given me a gift in this form because I could not fulfill these aspirations of mine, but through him, my artistic, yearnings have been fulfilled
That's so
um,
encouraging. A thought that you're
beyond
forward.
my expectations, even
Yes, yes.
beyond
And
them.
it's a very encouraging message that you're giving to the parents because they should encourage their kids to have their abilities coming out
Yes,
and shaping into
totally,
something that
totally.
can prove beneficial for them in the longer run rather
Yes,
than forcing only academics on them. So, my
yes,
dear parents who are watching this, I hope and I pledge that this is something that is for their brighter tomorrow. Never kill their abilities to just, make them a dull person because somewhere something if it is coming out through creative channels keep a check on it. You might as well encourage and motivate the child, and you might actually feel very very important when they are actually living their life in a very very fruitful way. And so is Dr. Sunil Kaushal blessed to have her son living the life he always dreamt of through his passions. And we are obviously very very honored to have you here, and definitely I hope that one day your son will also be on Deep Talks, or your daughter-in-law, or your near and dear ones, because they're all precious to us, and we wish them all the very best for the new year. And I pledge to
thank
unleash
you
the
so
full
much.
mind to people who come here to make them feel brighter and best. So, my dear viewers, keep watching and keep making merry as you breathe, because there's the only chance that you can make it happen, and it starts from today. So, please, if you do not take care of yourself, take care of self, keep yourself safe during this Omicron variant, which is already there in India. Take care of yourself, keep your near dear ones healthy. Always never forget to give a call to somebody near to you, dear to you. Never, never, never hesitate to ask for help, is my cry to
Yes,
all of you,
yes,
because catching on a hello call never goes unattended in the minds of souls who remember your reason to believe that someone somewhere definitely cares for you, and you are very important for not only
absolutely,
yourself but people around you.
absolutely.
So never commit suicide because it's a coward's act, and always believe there is a ray of hope for everyone in this world. Believe you me, your belief in yourself is really very important, and that's what I keep stressing on. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us. I'm sure I'll keep you on the hello calls, and I'll keep meeting you whenever it is
You know,
possible.
Gurleen, I always say, wherever you go, leave a
Yes,
part of yourself there. Touch
exactly,
people's lives. Touch people's
exactly.
lives. Leave a part of yourself. Leave something positive with them. And I wish all my listeners here and Gurleen a very special happy birthday to you on the 1st, and a
What
very
we will
happy
celebrate
Christmas to
together.
all our listeners, and a happy new year to everybody out there.
Thank you
And I
so
wish,
much, your viewers. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil Kaushal. And today's episode was fantastic. It was 1 hour, 18 minutes,
thank
and
you.
15 seconds on. This is wonderful. And it indeed is very special, close to our hearts. And I hope that you share to all your groups and all your near dear ones, because we have many more guests coming on this show. And just keep tuned in, because it does not mean that this conversation is ending. There's always a beginning with another guest coming on the chair, which is called the love seat, because it is indeed special. Let's all celebrate the new year with good thoughts and optimistic outlook, and let's connect and also wait for having a call of a party whenever this Omicron dies down. We are going to get together under a roof to celebrate Deep Talks, and it's celebrating its 2 years. So we would definitely like to have you on the party, and we would definitely love to have you on the love seat. So keep spreading smiles and keep enjoying each moment. And there is a comment coming in. Srishti Sarma saying, my co-host, happy birthday to you, ma'am. A Merry Christmas and a very happy new year. Thanks a lot, my co-host, for joining in and sharing your joys and experiences also. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Once again, thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you. Great honor, really. And a delight, a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so
Good
much,
night, ma'am.
Gurleen.
Good night.
And
Thank you
thank
so
to
much,
all
my
my
dear viewers.
listeners.